Oh, cool. Tracking's not working. That's great. Hold on. Wait. All right. No. Is this thing working? I think we're up now. So here's the deal. Tracking is lost again. There we go. Anyway, here's the deal. We're gonna try our best to do some hands, and then we'll call it on hand exercise, and we'll next weekend we'll draw something real. I should be able to actually do some art streams during the week. If not next, like not this week, but maybe next week. If not next week, I should be able to do the week after. We'll see. Um. Anyway, two things. Been having power outages. Actually, was yesterday before last night's stream. I just kind of winged it and hoped it didn't happen. It didn't happen again, but it happened three times in close succession. The the before times, and I had turned like everything off. So right now the air isn't on, but I got like a fan on. So hopefully the power just doesn't have a problem and less people have it on, so it's not like a rolling blackout type of deal. But if we disappear, we're probably not coming back. Just putting that out there. Um, the other thing is, by the way, it's interesting. I have like those battery things. What are they called? It's like a surge protector, but with like a battery in it, so your stuff doesn't automatically shut down. I have two of them. This one, this PC wasn't on, so I didn't really test it, but the other one definitely works. Um, and then I have one connected to the wireless stuff and like my internet router, and that one went out weirdly enough. Um, Sorry, but I think maybe it was just that like the internet went out. I don't know. Anyway, I also have a fucking headache, so it's probably gonna be worse than usual, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I've got a headache. Last night during stream, I guess there was like a really loud noise at one of the doors of the house here, and I think it was my neighbors because I woke up a couple times to seeing like their side light get turned on that points like right at my window here, and then their dog was like barking. It's like a tiny ass dog, so I assume they're letting it out to shit or something because you're an idiot if you leave that dog out. Anyway, let's get it started. You know, this actually almost looks like a hand. But like, what the fuck is bro doing? Like, using a mouse or something? Jesus. Oh, brother. I did take some shit for my head, so I'm hoping like it just kicks in and we don't have to like stop early or anything. Mm, 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 mm. Dumb, dumb, dumb ass. You are kind of dumb, bro. Bum 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 bum. This thing, the cracked fingernail is getting real close to like coming off and being a real problem. I think I might start wearing a band-aid over it or something. I have these ones at work that are like bacon, and they're honestly shittier than like real ones, so I might just use those because it's like I don't really need them for like blood absorption. I just need them so that this stops hooking up on shit. Because it's really fucking annoying. I feel like what's gonna happen is I'm gonna like put my hand in my pocket. It's gonna get caught on like the slightest piece of thread, and it's gonna just rip off. And then I am gonna need one for blood, and probably need some blood. I'll probably pass out. To be honest with you, it'll probably hurt enough, and there'll be enough blood that I'll be like, fuck. Anyway, This one, their original here seems really solid. I actually like this one a lot. I mean, I obviously liked all of them, but this one like actually really feels like a hand. Okay, that. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm leaving it. Theirs isn't that curved. It's just that I'm pretty sure a normal finger would be. Yeah. If you try to do something with this finger, it puts some strain on the rest of your fingers. I don't know, maybe we'll undo it. You know, what I'm noticing is for a lot of the finger stuff here, there's like a couple where they do it the way I think is right. Like this one here, there's like this one here for that finger. But a lot of the times they do what I feel like is the opposite. This finger is broke, by the way. So what they should be doing is that, but what they do a lot of time is that, if that makes sense. So like, it should be like that, but they're doing it like that, right? So this is the outer edge of like the finger. But instead of like doing it out so that it's like the meat of your finger, they're doing it in, and that slims up the finger and it gives it that twink shojo look that I guess people love. Um, but that's just not really how a finger works. So when I look at that, it's really hard for me to like replicate because I'm like, this is dumb as fuck. And then I do it and it looks bad because my lines aren't very clean. So like there's no winning. I also think they tend, whoever this is, tends to put like random little curves in. And I'm not really sure why. Alright, let's try and fix this thing. Actually, hold on. I think we really only need to maybe do like half of it. Let's not get super dehydrated, so let's drink a lot of water. Probably already dehydrated. Okay. Probably why my head hurts, to be honest. Which I'm always honest. I'm not really sure why that's a phrase. Okay. This would look a lot better with shading instead of whatever the fuck I'm doing here. It's not too bad though, all things considered. Okay. Didn't really do anything here. Alright. That's, this. Maybe. This doesn't really add up to me. It's a little better. It's not great, but it's a little better. Give it the old shrinky dink, you know? I guess I feel like I've talked about this a bit in the past. I don't know if I talked about how I'm trying to get rid of everything I've ever like got for my business, even if it's like next to no money. I'm just trying to make it so that if I at least break even if I sell it through eBay, because that's really the only avenue to sell things most of the time. They take such a huge cut. Um, I have an offer for something right now. It's a nice Zodiac watch. They were a limited run. I think there's only 500 of them. They tend to go for around 850, but I have an offer for 725, and I'm thinking I might just sell it because I think I'll walk away with like 50 bucks on it, assuming they don't live somewhere crazy, because it's free shipping for them, which means I pay for it. Um, but like of that, uh, I paid like 530 for it, I think. So you're probably like, well, hold on, that's like $200 profit, right? But it's not, because eBay will be taking 120 of those dollars right away for themselves. Just straight away. I never even see it. Right? So we're instantly down to, so let's say it's 720 something, so we'll be down to like 600 something, like almost 600 flat. Couple bucks off. So, 530 or 600 minus 530 is really about what, 70 bucks? And then you have to consider I'm probably going to have to pay around $15 to $25 for shipping. And it's going to be like insured and all that, which is going to make it even more expensive, right? So we'll call it 25 bucks. And so suddenly, at $70 is $50. Now, obviously, this is something I had considered. At the time, I bought it for 530. They were going for around 900 each, and shipping was less. So I was really hoping But what ended up happening is eBay took a lot of my listings down. I guess it's just apparently something they do. That doesn't really look any better, does it? Um, and they also I remember now that I had like beef with them because they were charging me like a currency conversion fee when somebody bought from me. And I'm just like, I didn't ask them to buy this from me. I would ban international sales if this is going to be the case. But the problem is that doesn't even help because what happens is they use something called a freight forwarding service or a drop shipping service. And basically they buy from them, who then buy from me using that original currency. And so I have to pay the currency conversion fee no matter what. And I got really mad at them, and I took down like a bunch of my stuff because I was like, well, why am I paying an extra $15? I literally am losing money at this point, because like I just said, that's a 10% margin of profit for something that is selling for almost 40% more than I paid for it. That means that 30% of that 40%, this is kind of, this is obviously not the real math, but it's show math here. That means that the majority of that 40% that would be profit is going to eBay. They're making more money. They're making over $120 and I'm making $50. Think about that. They do nothing and they're making more than twice what I would be making on a $500 investment. The thing is, 10% returns is good. If I put that $500 in like a stock that gave dividends, I'd probably get it would be like 3.8 to 4% per quarter, which sounds good, but $500 at that, and that's a good one, by the way. That's like a higher one. So $500 at that over the past, I think I've had it for like 3 years. That would have been probably like $4 a year, maybe $5 a year. So over the years, that would have gotten me. You would think it, oh well, that's more than 10%, but that's not really actually how it works. Um, it would be it would be like maybe $20 in dividends. It would be different if I had had it in there for like a decade, because then that would be like probably depending on deals and fluctuations. Sometimes the price of the stock will go down and my dividends would be worth less. But that would be probably like $90 by now. You gotta have money to actually really invest and make money in those things. All right, let's draw. I don't know what the hell we're talking about this shit for. Anyway, where that was going actually was, first off, I'm probably gonna accept that. Second, I keep getting like really, really low ball offers where it's like, I'll give you $50 for this item you've got listed, which is already the lowest item available. Or in a lot of cases, it's the only one available. Because I have had some of these things for a couple years, and they've now become discontinued. Or I bought them because they were discontinuing them, and I was like, well, it's good and it's cheap because they're discontinuing it, and I like it. So if I end up not selling it, I wouldn't be too mad about getting stuck with it. That was my logic. What an idiot, bro. Anyway, it's like, why are you offering me $50 for something that's 175? I'm the cheapest on there. All right, I have a crazy good amount of positive feedback. Like, what? Why don't I just send it to you for free? You know? Like, what do you think when you send that? Is it just like, oh, I'm gonna shoot my shot? What if they accept? I mean, what? For me, it's more like, what if they're a scammer? They just don't send me anything at that point. But it's like, you can't honestly expect someone to just lose a whole bunch of money just so you can get a deal on something that's already 100%, $100 less than everyone else. So it's like, what goes through some people's heads? Like, do you just not care about other people to such a degree that you're like, I deserve this for free? But they're a dick, so they're not going to give it to me for free. So I'll just offer them basically nothing compared to what they are asking for. But they'll give it to me. Like, is that it? Am I like, what am I missing? Am I just like, am I too good of a person or too bad of a person? You know what I mean? Like, I'm already the cheapest there. I'm already not really going to make any money on it because of that. If I even am going to make any money. Well, like, why am I just supposed to give this to you? Like, let's pretend for a second I like went to a garage sale and I got it for $5. I think in the case of what I'm talking about, it was a discontinuation sale from a company that I actually hate now. It's called Quiet Carry. Fuck them. So it was a discontinuation. I bought. Jesus Christ, what am I doing? I bought a couple of knives from them because they were basically worth around. They were selling for like a third of what they were worth at the time. There was a lot of hype around this company. They were doing some pretty good stuff. And I'm not going to pretend that most of their stuff isn't good. I just don't like them as a company. I haven't really heard much about them lately, actually, thinking about it. But basically, I bought a bunch of stuff from them on, like, I think it was like a warehouse clearance thing where they were getting rid of their old stock, right? Things that they were no longer going to produce. And so I got a bunch of it for pretty cheap, all things considered. Basically, I got it for what this less than what this guy, or no, more, a little more than what this guy was asking for. What did he offered 50 and I think I paid like 50 to 70. And so like I can get it from the perspective of, well, you got it for that, why can't I? But it's also, this thing has been discontinued for 4 years now. That's when I got these. I don't feel like it's reasonable to expect prices from 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure I used to have them up for like 80 because that would give me like $10 profit. And I took them down because of that whole, you know, if somebody with a foreign currency bought it thing, I would have lost money. I think I took down pretty much everything where my margin was going to be like less than $15 because of that, because I couldn't afford that, right? I'm not about to lose money. So it was like a matter of, I was going to, at the time, what is happening, dude? I don't know what I'm doing. You know, just make a couple bucks, and it was supposed to be like kind of fast turnarounds, and nobody really gets like bent out of shape because, you know, it's not a whole lot more. What the fuck am I drawing, bro? But anyway, like, what? Am I crazy? Like, this guy doesn't know the story behind me buying them. Like, he can't. Even if you were to look on their website, I think they maybe have them as like an archive of discontinued. So it doesn't even show a price as low as what guy wants to pay. And it's not like they were overhyped. Like, there's a company called James Brand that tends to sell knives that, quite frankly, are just not very good for the price. There's like a huge premium. They're like people call them like the Apple of the knife world because it's just like they came in, they slapped a interesting, well, not really, it's a stupid name on things, and they just kind of like pretended like that meant something. Like they came in with all confidence and were like, "Yep, that's us." And you're gonna pay money for it. And I have a couple other things I got for like a huge discount, and they're just not really like they're not bad, but they're just not that good. And it's like the same Chinese stuff as anywhere else. They do have a couple of American made things. It's not like they have their own factory or anything. God, this looks so. It looks so fucking bad. Holy. But yeah, nobody really likes them. Likes them. Like they have a couple of decent American made things. They have a couple of things that are decent. I think they're made by. I'm not sure. I want to say artisan cutlery because that's how they feel. There's like a certain feel to companies, like to what they make. You know, certain things feel a certain way. Um, I don't know. Let me get back to that because I feel like I can sort of maybe show it. Um, but my point in all of this is like, okay, I get wanting some money off, but like I feel like if something's 175, you offer like if you want a serious discount, you try and do like 100. I feel like that's not insulting enough for someone to like tell you to piss off. You'll be like, okay, bro, like I see what you're doing. You're trying to get me to meet you in the middle at like 120 or something or 130. That's fine. Or you can get straight to the point and just offer like 135. But like asking for 80% off. It's like if I was going to sell it for that, I would have put it up for that. Like why would you even bother? I would just assume anyone who accepts something at that steep of a discount is just going to scam me. Right? They're just going to take my money and never send me anything. So what is there to gain by doing it? Is it just to like fuck with someone? I do know, what well, not really to be fair. I do know that some people will I don't like this hand. Some people will send you stuff. So they'll send you an offer and be like, "Yo, bro, this is all it's worth. This is what I'll give you for it." I had someone do that with a Zodiac, actually with the same Zodiac watch. I have up for an offer for 725 for it, right? Someone's like, "Oh yeah, but we both know I'll offer you 400. We both know Zodiac's kind of mid anyway, and like nobody even wants these, and they're kind of shit. So like their build quality's not great. So like 400 is all it's worth anyway, bro. Like, so why don't you just accept that? If not, I won't pay anymore. But thank you." I'm like, what? I have it listed for 820 or 850 or something like I think 850. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's already like $100 less than everyone else. There's only 500 of them in the world. What do you want from me? $400? I didn't even pay $400 for it. Like, what the fuck? If I paid $400 for it, I'd be wearing it, motherfucker. They're sick. Anyway, I'm trying to think if I have anything at the ready I can show. But there's like knives and there's like manufacturers and they have of course it's just somebody teach me how to speak English, please. Also, this looks like the head of a rooster. Anyway, um so there are knives by companies and they feel the same. So like if it sometimes a really good best tech feels like a really good Riot, which feels like a really good Wii knife. But for the most part, those are like the biggest OEMs that, well, not anymore. I guess there's some other OEMs now, like Kunwu has a pretty unique feel. Um, a lot of the times they do kind of feel close to a Riot, like a really good Riot. But Riot rested on its laurels, and a lot of the companies caught up. But these are the cheap ones, the Chinese ones that were good and of notable quality. There's like Millet in the U.S. that makes really good ones. I think I have. You know what? I'll be back in a sec. Sorry. Okay. Let's go through these little pouches. Sorry. So these should all be Wii knives. Here's a Millet. Here we go. So this, I believe, is made by Millet. This is the. Is it TJ Shorts? I don't know. This is one of my most used ones. I actually got it used for like really cheap because the tip is a little chipped. But I put like a crazy mirror edge on it that's no longer a mirror because you use it once and it loses that. Really cool knife. Very, very thin and slicey. Um, okay, I think these are all Wii. So this should be a pretty good choice here. Now, this isn't the best example because these were all commissioned by a company called. There you go. This is Riot. I believe these are Wii. So these are all commissioned by a company called Drop, formerly Mash Drop, formerly existed. Now Viso sells these, if they even have them in stock. So this is a Wii knife. Oh, here we go. This will probably be better. This is a Wii knife. And I think this is a Riot. Perfect. So Riot, Millet, Wii. Zim. And I think this is also a Wii. There we go. So here's the deal. This has a very similar. This is the Drop Orca. These are made by Riot. I think all of the Eric Oxworks or the Eric Oxworks collabs are Riot made, and there's just a very like very I don't know. People call it like glassy smooth. I don't know if that's how I would describe it, but it's like very smooth. It's like there's almost no resistance once you get past the detent. That is a little ball that there's a little hole that a lot of more expensive ones it's ceramic and that goes into the hole and it's like just shallow enough that it can be easily broken with some pressure, but it keeps it in so that it just doesn't fall out. And so it kind of makes this like launch effect when you launch it. But there's like this very similar feel to something like this, right? Where it's like just kind of gliding across. I would actually be surprised if this wasn't a Riot. I actually don't know. This is a Kirby Lambert Rain, I think, collab with them. This was really popular because Kirby Lambert doesn't really do a whole lot of collabs. And his customs are about, I think, 1,500 starting. So, you know, not ideal. But you know what? I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if this was one of these, a Wii, and that's because it's all made by or produced for Mash Drop or Drop, or in this one was Kaviso, I think. And they kind of can dictate specs a little bit and like things like that. So these two have a very similar feel that this one just does not. You could argue that since this one has a crossbar lock, there's like more blade contact in the back, and it's a little different. I need to tighten this because it's actually quite loose. But this one, it's not that there's like resistance, but it just doesn't have that same smooth feeling. These are like their higher end ones. This one feels pretty close, but it is like there's like something about it. It's like you can feel the I think you can feel the bearings like sometimes not spinning, whereas the bearings in this, so these have caged bearings between the blade and the scales, um, and the little ball bearings, you can just sometimes feel them. Maybe they got a flat spot if they're metal, but you can just feel them kind of like hanging up on something. This actually, I don't remember this feeling this smooth. I usually coated blades don't feel this smooth because they'll just coat the whole thing. They must have not in this case. This actually feels like it might be Riot. I mean, like I said, you can't always tell. This one definitely feels like a Wii knife though, which isn't to say it's bad. It just has a feeling. But again, it could just be a Riot. I'm not sure. Cause at like at the same level, right, where I said you can stop noticing a difference when they really are instructed in certain ways. It's very difficult to tell. What isn't so for this the it's not really the action that's giving me Riot vibes. It's actually the scales. They kind of feel very similar. And same with that to this. But it could just be because they were designed around the same time. These two are designed by the same guy, Terzola. His customs, I think. Does he even make them anymore? I know Bob Terzola. They're usually very combat themes. Um, I'm not sure what they. I think they go for like 700 secondary, but I don't know about that. This definitely feels like a Wii knife. Classic Wii knife right here. Very good, very smooth. Has like a nice little ting going. It's actually a little smoother than this one. It's kind of close to this, but like there's just kind of something about it that I think this is the BUC Buck. Really, it's probably my favorite one of the Ferrum Forge collabs. Um, and this is also a Wii knife. This one feels pretty close to that, but I don't know, like that like ting noise, just almost recognizably Wii knife in a lot of cases. I don't feel like you get um, a lot of that with like the Riots. The Riots are usually like smoother and a little. I don't know. I don't. I wish I had better words to describe things, but here's what I'll say confidently. Wii knife. Um, I mean, I know this is a Riot. I know this is Millet. Questionably, potentially Wii knife, but I think more likely these might all be Riot. They just have a closer feel to the action. For anyone wondering, this was that TJ Schwartz one. I think it's TJ. It might be a, yeah, I think it's TJ. I don't know, something Schwartz. Bob Terzola, Bob Terzola. These aren't available anymore at all. You might be able to find one of these somewhere. It's probably too expensive though. I mean new. You can find most of these on like eBay secondary. They're probably gonna cost you upwards of 200 bucks now. I think these were like sub 100 at a certain point. Um, Orca, Eric Ox, Orca, Kirby Lambert, Rain, I think. You can still get these. These are the Kaviso Keen. I think you can only get the left-hand version though. Ferrum Forge BUC Buck, and this is the Gapco Thresher. This is probably my favorite collab from them. I'm a sucker for Gapco stuff. Anyway, there's just like a feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. Let me see here. There's another Oxwork. Just feels iconically Riot. Here's another Gapco. This is the Nurse Shark. Just iconically, to me, a Wii knife. Like, it just has a feel. I don't know how else to put it. I almost feel like you can hear it. This is an Eric Oxworks one. This one maybe doesn't really have the feel. It's tighter, but I think that's because it's smaller. And it's supposed to be more difficult because it has like this bottle cap on the back, or bottle cap opener, and you're like not supposed to be able to like accidentally hit the blade or anything. I don't know. It was a mistake. They shouldn't have included it. Fucks that knife completely up. Let's see. Oh, I think this is a Wii knife. This is fuck. Fuck, who makes this? I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure it's Wii knife, but I cannot remember the maker for this. I think it's Duhara. Really? She have two already? And I could use a hand. Yeah, sorry. I kind of got into talking about knives, and there's a couple where I was talking about is a weird time to walk in on this. Certain ones have a certain feel, like from certain companies, and just kind of got lost in the sauce about that. So I do apologize. But let's get back to drawing hands because I have taken a long enough break, and we got to put these away. Nobody wants to see them. I think I have a thumb stud only version of this that was like a limited run in pink. I think there's 25 of them in existence. I don't know why I bought it. I didn't need it. I didn't want it. I just thought it was cool. Get them out of here. All right, back to drawing hands. Let's put the thing on. I'm losing it. So this hand did not come out well at all. I'm going to see if maybe cleaning it up works for us. I think a big part of my problem is that perspective. I just ain't got none, you know? No perspective on life. I actually feel like the hand part of this kind of came out alright. It's the fingers that just aren't looking too good, especially this finger. I think this finger is what's really messing me up here. So if I just keep redoing it, I don't know that it's ever going to look any better. But we'll give it one more go. I think a big part of my problem is that since these are basically just sketches, they never really get the depth needed for me to visually, like, appreciate how they're supposed to be. Alright, so let's look at their thing again. So they're doing... What in the hell? What are they doing? This is why you shouldn't look at other people's practice. Because who does this? Not even attempt hands yet. I'm still trying to do the head. Look, here's how I've been doing it. I've only been working on art for like maybe 8 months now. I started in January of this year. I mean, technically, I've been drawing my whole life, right? Of course, obviously, you know. But for me, I found the best way to learn is a combination of occasionally trying to do certain things. So the hands or what you're doing, the head. I spent like, I want to say like 3 full weeks drawing head shots, just the skull, and then like a sculpture head. It didn't even help. It didn't feel like it helped at all. It probably helped a lot, but it didn't feel like it helped at all. I feel like what helps me more than anything is just drawing what I feel like I want to draw. It's gonna not be good. Like, you just do what you gotta do. I think that's, for me, the best way to stay interested in it. Started a few years back, then stopped because I didn't feel like it was making any progress, so I decided to try it again. I hope you stick with. I mean, if you want to stick with it, I hope you do. I definitely get that because I feel like if I look at these, I don't feel like I've done anything. Right? These look terrible to me. Like maybe this one at a glance looks like a hand, right? These kind of look like hands at a glance. I swear to God, this looks like a dude. Right? Here's the arm. Here's like another arm and like a weapon or something. He's got like a box head, and he's like about to majestically go into battle. Right? He's doing his last stand. He's like stepping forward into it. Um, Look, all I did was find someone else's like hand practice, and I'm like just trying to sort of copy what they did. In a lot of cases, I feel like they just physically don't work. In theory, you could just draw your own hand, take a picture of it, just hold your hand out, whatever. But like, I don't feel like I'm making any progress, right? This hand looks terrible to me. Like, if I zoom out, I can see that that looks like maybe a hand. Like, this would work for a really big image that the hand isn't the focus. But like, that's just the problem. It doesn't feel like I'm making any progress. But if I had done this, I mean, this doesn't look good, but if I had done this 6 months ago, it would look even worse. And what's changed is that I've just drawn more. I think that's really all it comes down to. You just have to send it. You have to send it and realize that you're just starting. You're not that great. So it's not going to look like what's in your head, what you feel like you can do, what you want to do. Right? The amount of times I've just redrawn the same like 3 lines over and over because I'm just like, it's not right. It doesn't look good. I don't like it. I want to redo it. At a certain point, you just have to realize, like, this is the best you're going to be able to do for right now. And if you really like what you're drawing, the subject, you can come back and do it more justice. Nothing's stopping you from trying to redraw something. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. The way I look at it is I go into something with the intention of coming out better than when I started, while simultaneously drawing, hopefully, something that I would like and want to draw. So in this case, I wanted to get better at hands. So I found someone else's work, and they have like a little hand exercise, and I just kind of wanted to try and do it. I've noticed that they have what I'll call shojo hands. Like, they have weird little fingers that are kind of weirdly long, and they don't really follow human rules. And that's fine. That's their style. They don't look bad or anything. Obviously, I liked it when I first went into it. But there's things I have to change about it to make it work for me because I just don't want to draw it like that. And then you just kind of go in, you draw. You don't like it, you're probably not going to. Right? You're not going to make a perfect hand the first time you try to draw one. Probably not going to do it the second time either. You just kind of have to live with it. Like, would it be nice to just be able to do exactly what I want whenever I want? Sure. But you never know. Sometimes it looks better than others. Like right now, I don't feel like this looks particularly good. It does kind of look like a hand. Like it looks like I was trying to draw a hand, but it looks more like a hook. But it's like, well, what else can I do? I'm in it. See, this looks like too many like little things here, so I feel like I gotta cut that up. Maybe go like that and like that. Something like that. Little better maybe. Maybe it's worse. This feels kind of too big. So maybe we come in. So now this feels too big. I think a big part of art is just drawing. I know that sounds stupid as hell, but it's like at a certain point, what are you doing? You just you just gotta draw it. You can spend 1,000 hours drawing boxes, and that'll make you really good at drawing boxes, and that will help with other things. But if all you draw is boxes, are you even having fun? Like, are you enjoying it? Is it worth it? You won't be able to really draw anything else. Like, it'll help, but you just need to draw what you want to draw, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you don't, you don't. You draw something else. You move on and you draw something else. I think that's something else for me too. I keep saying something else, but it's like, okay, I'll start drawing a character or something, and I'll really like the character. I'll like, all the subject. I really want it to work. I'll put some color into it. I'll do my best, and it just won't look that great. But you have to like you spend some time to do your best and make it as good as you can. Maybe learn something, learn how to do something, learn how to draw fabric or a certain angle or something. But you came in it with a skill level, here, and now your skill level's here. It doesn't make sense to go back and change everything you drew at the lower skill level. Instead, it makes more sense to me to move on to the next thing, right? And now your skill level's there, and by the time you finish the next one, hopefully you're there, instead of going back and changing everything. You're just going to end up like burning yourself out on the same image. I think you're better off just, at least for me, just kind of doing your best on something, hopefully learning something from it, getting some skills, getting some practice, and moving on to the next thing. And no, it's not going to look fantastic. It's going to look as good as it can. Do a few more drawing lines, boxes, and circles, but then I would draw stuff. You want to draw swords and characters, anything that apply. I mean, I think that's the best way to do it personally. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but it's like if you're not enjoying what you draw, if all you're doing is boxes, that, what is it, this exercise, and then, right, and you draw like circles in it, and then you like try and match your lines or whatever. I already messed up, right? If that's all you do, like, what are you even doing? Like, draw your swords. Or there was I still plan on doing it, but I'll draw the knives I just had out, and I those are actually some of the best experience for me because I handle them all the time. I'll do little like leather working projects, and I use those to cut the leather, or I use them to like, you know cut some like gardening things, or cut or whatever, break down boxes. but like I'm very familiar with them. So when my lines are off when I'm drawing, I really, really know it. And that actually makes it easier to draw the lines, right? Because I'm very familiar with it. I know what it feels like, what it, what it is. And so it's like it's a little easier to just kind of make something happen when you're just kind of familiar with something. Is it like perfect? Not necessarily, but the more you draw something and the more familiar you are with what you draw, the easier it becomes. It would be way easier. Let's say you collect shoes or you have a garden that you like the flowers of. Draw those, you know? Draw whatever it is you have in front of you. That'll be easier than drawing what I'm doing here, to be honest. I mean, I have hands, but it's like these are strange ass hand poses. I think it's also just way more enjoyable to draw swords or your favorite anime character or your favorite TV show or movie character. Draw Tom Cruise. I don't know. Whatever you like. Whatever works for you. I think that's I don't know, to me I think that's the best. That's the best experience and that's the best way to keep yourself interested. Because if you don't draw what you want to draw, you start to question why you're even drawing and then you just leave. It's like, well, why, you know, I'm dreading drawing more hands. So why would I draw more hands? I don't even want to draw. All I can do is draw hands now. Like that's what why would I keep doing it? I don't want to do it anymore. And if you don't figure something else out and you feel your only option is to draw hands and you don't want to draw hands, suddenly you just don't draw, right? Like what are you going to do? And this is not looking good, huh? When I first started, I will still I question it. But I was doing like I basically what I'd do is go to Twitter and I would like images that I liked, and then I would try my best to replicate them because it's like, well, I like it. I'd like to learn how to draw like that. And some people do frown upon that. They're like, oh, you shouldn't be drawing off of, you shouldn't draw someone else's image without their permission. Here's how I see it. At the end of the day, they learned how to draw by probably drawing like fanfic for Full Metal Alchemist or Naruto X Sasuke ships or whatever. So they really don't have any ground to stand on. Anyway, um, as far as I'm concerned for that, I think you're probably fine. But like the point being, if you like it, I think you should try and draw it. Right? If the goal is to be able to draw it, I think that's the goal. You should try to draw it. And sometimes, like right now, the original image might not be particularly accurate or make a whole lot of sense. So you'll have to improvise. Because I am doing that right now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Dude, these fingers are so fucked, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Poor guy, right? Got Slender Man over here. The way I would do it is, so I started off by I like tried to learn a little, but for the most part, I really just started by streaming it. And you know, like I said, I'm not I'm obviously I might act like one. I'm not like a 5-year-old learning to read, write, and draw like right the fuck now. I've obviously doodled before. I've drawn things, you know, for classes when I was younger, right? I understand how drawing works. And so you know, you can kind of just come into it with the understanding that you take pen thing and you make line thing, right? So you can kind of just come into it and send it. And I think that's really the way to do it. Unless you have a professional teacher who's going to teach you things, um, you just kind of got to send it. Watch videos if that helps you, or don't if it doesn't, because I find a lot of the videos don't actually help very much. Um, be willing to change things as well. Right? There was a point where I wouldn't really like cut things and use like liquefy tool and whatnot. A lot of the reason for that was I didn't really know how, but you know, you just you gotta keep yourself in the game. What in the hell am I drawing? If you don't like it, don't draw it. This don't look right, do it. I think the part of my problem with this is I don't think this angle makes a whole lot of sense. Like, what the hell is bro doing? What if we try it here? What if we try and redo this? Maybe we shorten the things a little bit. This is not gonna look good. I can already tell. Oh no. Poor fella. That ain't good. Well. Huh? Oh, wrong thing. Just put that there and pretend we never did that one. What do we think? Alright, we got one more from this page, and then I think I'll go back over to see if I can like maybe do some of these a little cleaner, but then I'll probably be back next weekend, and we're definitely not gonna do this again. I mean, I probably will at some point, but I'm just gonna pick something I like, something I feel like drawing. If I don't mix it up, I'm gonna lose my shit. I think also, if I don't know where you're at with things, if you're even still here, but like drawing, like just sketching, I feel like really can fuck with your perception of things, because a lot of times it just looks so damn flat. The shading is needed. I kind of got distracted about that whole knife point. I think the point was there are certain ones that feel a certain way, and I can generally tell unless they're like done by a particular manufacturer. I guess using the drop collabs was like the worst choice. I should have just got out an actual Wii knife to compare to the Wii drops, like the ones that I knew. It keeps getting caught on the glove. Oh, it's so annoying. The extended breaks, by the way, are because my head still hurts. It's not as bad as when I started though, so I think we're good. It's just it's like I feel like I'm in a daze. I don't know. I think it's because it's just so fucking hot, and then like you just wake up so dehydrated, it's impossible to catch up without feeling sick. You know, I've noticed that they break their lines a lot. So like instead of doing it in one smooth line, a lot of times they'll just do like a random line here and a random line there. Feels like there's something in my right eye and I don't like it at all. Bro. Maybe I'll draw who should I draw? I feel like I have some images that I wanted to draw, but like I can't think of it. I had some like saved up because that's like all I use Twitter for now. Is just like finding interesting things that maybe I can potentially try and draw. Dude, this looks like a fucking glove that's been blown up. They just lose tracking? What was that? So for some reason they have this on the original, and I don't really know why. So difficult. Ugh. Okay. I can still feel it in my eye. I just can't like deal with it right now. What am I doing, bro? You know what? Let's just kind of send it on this. Fuck it. this looks terrible as fuck. So let's try and shrink that. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna try and actually like lart, but like good. Like we're gonna send it on this. What the fuck is that, bro? Why does it just like not feel good to draw this? Alright, let's move on. I know that's technically the last one. We're just gonna try it again. I'm just not happy with how we're able to do this. We're gonna try again, but like in full send mode. Go. What is happening? Why is it looking like that, bro? Okay. Why does this just feel so difficult to draw? You know how fucking bad that is. Kind of looks like a dog, actually. You see this? There's like the teeth. Arr, arr. We got him. All right, let's move on from this. We're gonna try a different one. We're gonna try the same one, but we're gonna try to do it again. Bro's looking too much like a dog. So why is it that I just can't do? I think it's because there's too many lines on the original to like copy. So it just feels like not legible. And so trying to like follow along just doesn't work. I think that's why this one feels so difficult to me. It doesn't feel right because it's not right. And it's not right because of a thousand different reasons. But it manages to look like it is because there's like line spam, but it's got them shoujo hands, man. Why does their hand just feel so wrong? Like, I get that I'm not doing it justice, but it just doesn't work. Like, visually, at first glance, what I'm copying here, visually it's fine, but then, like, you look at it and you break it down, and it's just fucking not right. Like, it doesn't work. Christ, alright, hold on. You know what? Let's just completely undo this one. Okay. So I look at it. Wrist, okay. We got, hold on. Let's follow along. Let's follow along. We'll start here, and then we'll kind of come out. This is probably a little small, but that's fine. So then they have like that for like the wrist, and like a little bit of that, and then they kind of come up, right? And then it's like already starting to fall apart because it's like kind of coming in, but then like it comes back out for the pinky. Oh my god, I think I got it. I think they did this, and then they swapped fingers. That's exactly what it is. That's what it is. That's why it's so fucking weird. I thought they had like taken a picture of their hand like this or something, but that's why it feels so weird. This area is down here. So they did this to draw it, I think. And then they just kind of swapped what it should be. And then like tried a little bit to overcome it. So this does need to be out further instead of coming in. Then we gotta kind of come in. Um, we're not gonna have as pointy of a finger as them. I think we maybe wait on that actually. All right, so let's just draw this thumb as best we can. Fuck, this is difficult. So they just kind of have a bulbous little thumb here. I guess we'll send it on that. That's why this is different. Okay. But they have their pointer finger kind of like curved and then curved and then it like it's too weird. I think it should be like that maybe. And then it comes in. But that's like what? Oh. Oh, brother. It's a little better. It's not good. And then for some reason, they drew this. What is this? But then they have this. This is just like straight for some reason. And I think this is really throwing me off because this should be curved in some way. It's not really any way it wouldn't be. But hold on. I'm gonna leave these lines. They don't have down to here, but I think we need down to there. And I think we need to come down to like here. And what they have is like the pinky. So their pinky ends here. And that's why it feels so weird. I think this is maybe remnants of a practice technique where people draw cylinders and they for some reason didn't use it throughout the entire rest of their practice. But for this thing they used it. And visually that just has really messed me up because it's like, well, what changed here? All right, so this is pretty close to what I think they're doing. For some reason, this finger's like that, and then this one's like, I can't do it. Oh my god, I can't do it while keeping these two fingers together. Ah, there we go. It's kind of like this. Can I get the bend in? This so their finger is like bent like this, but I just can't bend the tip of this and keep the tip of this like pointed that way. Um, so the same. Basically, it's supposed to look like that, but I just can't do it. Where it's like, I don't know. I'm looking for the elusive G spot or something. Um, but I think we're pretty close. Obviously, this isn't like good line work or anything, but if I do something like that, kind of get it a little more knuck feeling. Maybe kind of close that a little bit. I don't know. I'm sure I can maybe clean this up. Feel like honestly somehow the pointer finger is the worst. It's like the best, but it's like the worst. Jesus. I just can't make this look good, can I? just feels weird overall, doesn't it? I feel like if you zoom out, it almost looks like a hand, but like that pointer finger really messes it up. Well, we don't want it to only almost look like a hand when we zoom out, so we've got to do something. Yeah, man. I think this would be easier if I used the other tablet that's like, you know, just the regular old tablet, because then I could like flip it around and follow the lines a little easier. Obviously, we're not doing that, so we can't do that. I just realized I never went full screen. Fuck, sorry about that. It's not really a big deal, but it is what it is. I think I might try and redo this one if I can figure out which one this was. I think it's this one. Hold on, actually. Let's try it like over here. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Fuck. That's fine. It's not like it really matters. This is just like sketching shit to try and learn a little bit. Why does this feel so much worse than what I had before? Um, 1, 1, 2, 3. So that's pointer, middle. We're missing a finger, aren't we? I think the original is missing a finger. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the original is missing a finger. Okay. So the original does this, and it like pseudo does a pinky. And it goes like that, kinda. Right? But then they have like this. So it's like Okay, but we're missing a finger, right? They kind of do that. All right. So, pointer finger, middle finger. No. Okay, it's not that it's missing a finger. Well, it is. It's missing the thumb, but this finger is weirdly too fat. That's what's going on. That's why it looks like it's missing something. It's because the proportions are weird. Yep, that's what it is. There's one too many knuckles and the fingers are too fat. I'm going to guess what they did was they drew this and then they added that later. And so what they ended up doing is drew all the fingers and then maybe that was originally supposed to be the thumb or something like that, but it ended up giving you the double wide ring thing. I think that's what it is. Okay. We can maybe get away with a little bit of this. Um, yeah, I guess you wouldn't really see the thumb. All right, let's try and clean this up with like a lart and see what happens. Because we've got like a huge mess here. You know, I said clean it up and now I'm doing like these fucking super sloppy lines. Turns out I'm garbage, but hey. So what if we get rid of that? Okay, that does not look good at all. Jesus Christ. Well, if you zoom out, it maybe looks like a hand. Or, you know, a handful of worms, perhaps. Why for? That it just makes me think of someone doing like this. Why? Why? Wherefore art thou? This dude's going bowling right here. Come on, man. So fucking cooked. All right. I'm going to save these. We're going to take a step back and we're going to think about it. We'll figure out what we're up to from here. Okay. So, I think the best thing on this thing is the rat. Alright. I'm looking at him, and I feel like my biggest thing is if the source is very off, I do worse. That's not to say the source looks bad or is not well done. It's just not, for my head, it is not physically grounded, and therefore it has no, I can't do it. Because if I can't make my hand take the shape, right? Like, whatever the fuck this, the one that this thing that I think looks like a dude getting ready to like majestically go into battle. It's not something a hand can do, right? It doesn't make any sense. There we go. Sort of, almost like that. Not really. Not really. But you know that, and the one where the guy's got like 4 joints in his thumb. He's like playing piano or something. It just doesn't work for me. I find it too difficult to draw because it's just not what makes sense. You know, having a huge gap between the pinky for this thing, it doesn't work for me, right? The one where you can tell that he drew, or whoever it is drew, I think it's like this, and they obviously drew a different part of the hand, and suddenly there's like extra stuff. It's really hard to follow and come off of. That's not their fault. They surely didn't intend for someone to try and learn off of it. This was their own practice. So there's nothing wrong with whatever this person did from any sort of perspective of what they did. They did their best. They couldn't possibly expect someone to look at it and try and learn from it. Right? They're doing their best, and it is great. Right? They get the presence of a hand way better than I do, even if parts of it don't work for me physically, mentally, right? If I can't do it with my hand, I just don't want to draw it that way. It just doesn't really make sense. It's hard to draw. I'm at a stage where I can't like improvise that way. It's just the way it is. But I do feel like the ones that were really, really just off were way harder to draw. Like they weren't grounded, so I wasn't grounded. Right? The ones with weird added lines, harder to do. Right? Because some of these don't look too bad. I wouldn't say they look good. But if you zoom out, right, if this were on like a background thing, you wouldn't really question it. You probably would, honestly. You'd probably be like, "Is this AI? This shit sucks." Why has he got an extra finger? But I think what I really got to do here is probably work on my lines. I think a big part of the problem is I'm working at small pixels on a high pixel density thing, right? This is like a 4K canvas, and I'm using like 2 pixels or something. I think that makes mistakes more obvious. And I need to like get better at like my starting position, my sizing, and my proportions. Realistically, the only way I'm going to get better is if I do another hand thing. I just think I'd like to do something else. Maybe we'll do something else, then come back and do a different hand thing. Just don't feel like doing a hand thing again next weekend. What if we draw this dude, but for real? Like, just turn him into something. That would require creativity. I don't know if I got that. Like, we got him to this stage, but like, what next? I'll think about it. Anyway, like looking at these, yeah, I think my biggest problem is my consistency, like of like the size of the fingers and like the hands. My like if I get them mostly the same size, like this one doesn't look too terrible. right? This isn't too bad. I mean, this is a weird hand shape, but it doesn't look too bad. This is kind of off, but you know what? It's actually not that bad. If anything, the wrist and the palm are off, right? This doesn't look too bad. These are also ones where the hand shape made a little more sense, right? Because I can do this with my hand, right? I can do this with my hand. I think, is it this? I don't know, whatever the fuck bro's doing. I can do that with my hand, right? I can sort of almost do this with my hand. I wouldn't. What am I doing? Yeah. What? Crouching tiger. What? What am I fucking doing, dude? what? What is that? Oh, I call this technique. Come here, kitty. I want to pet you. Inviting the stray. That's what we'll call it. Right, the ones where I'm certain I can do it with my hand seem to definitely be a lot better. Except for this one. Somehow I fucked this up. Because I do think I can do this with my hand. Actually, wait, where is the thumb in this image? Right, so it's this. You don't see it there, so I guess it's under here. I don't fucking know, bro. Anyway, yeah, next week we're gonna probably pick something to actually draw. I probably maybe something with hands so we can try to work on a hand a little bit, but probably like just a person, maybe a little anime girl or something. Something simple, hopefully. No magic, no fire. Just a face shot, I don't know. Maybe just a body shot, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna get off for the morning. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. Hopefully I can catch you in the next one, wherever that is. Until then.